Our neighbor's son was selling candy for a school fundraiser. I politely declined. The next day, my 5-year-old found our porch covered in melted chocolate and a note that read, "You don't deserve sweet things." I went over to talk. The mother said, "He's expressive. You can't control creativity." A week later, my child was banned from recess for stealing candy. The school said there was video evidence. When I finally saw the footage, it was from our neighbor's Ring camera. And it had been doctored. What I found in their recycling bin was the original footage, with my son nowhere in sight. We moved into a house in Overland Park, Kansas about 4 months ago. Not some fancy part of town, just a quiet neighborhood with ranch-style homes and trimmed lawns. We were just trying to give our 5-year-old son, Max, a better life. Something steady and good. My husband Darren works IT from home. I work part-time from the local library, mostly in the evenings. It wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. Our neighbors to the right, the Harveys, were quiet. Not the friendly type, but not rude either, at first. Mr. Harvey worked long hours, barely around. Mrs. Harvey stayed home. She always looked like she was running for PTA president, even when she was just picking up the mail. And their son, Micah, maybe 11 or 12, was strange. Not in a loud or dangerous way. He was just always watching. His eyes followed everything. I figured maybe he was just shy or had trouble socializing. 2 weeks after we moved in, Micah knocked on our door. It was a Sunday morning. He had a red cardboard box with the words, "School Fundraiser," written in Sharpie across the top. Candy bars. The kind every school kid sells. He didn't say much. Just opened the box and stared at me. I smiled and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. I don't have cash on me. Good luck, though." I tried to be nice about it. No sarcasm. No judgment. Just the truth. He stood there for a second longer than he should have, then turned and walked away. I didn't think anything of it, until the next morning. Max usually goes outside with Darren to get the newspaper and walk a little bit before school. That morning, he came running back inside crying. "There's chocolate all over," he said through sobs. I walked outside and stopped cold. Our porch had been smeared with melted chocolate, across the mat, the railing, even the doorknob. It looked like someone had rubbed it into every surface they could reach. Sitting on top of the mess, held down by a rock, was a note written on notebook paper. "You don't deserve sweet things." I stood there frozen. Darren came out, saw it, and swore under his breath. He wanted to just clean it up. "It's probably just some stupid kid prank," he said. But I couldn't shake it. It wasn't just a prank. It was targeted. A message. So I knocked on the Harvey's door. "Mrs. Harvey answered, smiling that thin, empty smile she always wore. Like she'd practiced it in the mirror but didn't mean it. I told her what happened. I didn't accuse anyone. I just said, "I think your son might have left something on our porch last night. It was pretty upsetting." She raised her eyebrows and said, "Micah's very expressive." "Expressive?" I asked. "He's an artist. A creative thinker," she said, folding her arms. "You can't control creativity." I blinked. "So smearing melted chocolate on someone's house is what? Performance art?" She tilted her head. "Maybe he felt dismissed. Because I didn't buy a candy bar?" Her smile didn't change. "Some kids are more sensitive than others." I left before I said something I couldn't take back. Darren said to let it go. "She's a loon. Don't give them any more energy." So I tried. For Max's sake. I let it go. 1 week later, I got a call from Max's kindergarten teacher. Mrs. Elkins. She sounded stiff. Cold. "Your son's been suspended from recess for the rest of the week." I blinked. "What? Why?" "We have video of him stealing candy from another student's backpack." That didn't sound right. Max won't even take a toy from another kid's room without asking. He says please when he wants a snack. He cries when he spills his juice. "There must be a mistake," I said. She said there wasn't. That the school had been given video evidence. She said it showed him clearly. I demanded to see it. 2 days later, the principal invited me in. They played the video for me in a small office. It wasn't from a school hallway. It was Ring doorbell footage, Micah's front porch. Time-stamped from a few days ago. It showed a small kid, about Max's size, reaching into a larger boy's backpack and pulling out what looked like a candy bar. No audio. Face mostly turned away. It looked like Max. But something didn't feel right. The movement was jerky. The lighting was weird. Too dark for morning, too bright for evening. The kid didn't walk like Max. Not quite. Where did you get this? I asked. The parents of the victim, Micah's parents, shared it, the principal said. They said they sometimes hold reading groups at their house after school. Outside? On their porch? I asked. They said it was a special session. I left that meeting shaking. Something was wrong. Very wrong. And that's when I remembered, it was trash day. So I got up early the next morning, put on gloves, and took a walk. When I passed the Harveys' driveway, I saw their recycling bin open. Overflowing. There were candy wrappers, a few paper printouts, screenshots of video thumbnails. Then I saw it. A clear Ziploc bag with a flash drive inside. It was half buried under pizza boxes. I didn't hesitate. I took it. I went home, plugged it into my laptop, and opened the folder. There were 10 video files. All Ring footage. All labeled by date. One of them was the original. The raw, unedited video. And what I saw made my stomach drop. Micah, wearing a hoodie, looked straight at the camera and said, "Watch this. It'll be hilarious." Then he crouched down, put on a kid-sized backpack, and filmed himself pulling candy from his own bag. His face was mostly covered. He mimicked Max's walk. He even wore similar shoes. Max was never in the video. It was all fake. They doctored it. They made my son look like a thief. And the school believed it. That's when I realized, they picked the wrong mother to mess with. I stared at the video for hours. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely click. Pause. There it was. Micah's smug little face, whispering into the camera. "Watch this. It'll be hilarious." Then he acted out the whole fake theft. A whole performance. For what? So he could frame my son? Over a candy bar? That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a prank, or a weird kid being weird. This was deliberate. It was his parents too. They were in on it. Or at least they knew. That note. "You don't deserve sweet things." The fake footage. The smug attitude from Mrs. Harvey. They were playing a game. They thought we'd roll over. I called Darren into the room. Showed him everything. He stared at the screen and just said, "What the hell is wrong with them?" "I don't know," I said. "But I'm not letting them ruin Max's reputation at school." We made copies of the footage. On flash drives, cloud storage, even emailed one to my sister in Indiana. Then I scheduled a meeting with the principal. The next day, I walked into the school office with Max's real footage on a flash drive and a folder full of timestamped screenshots. The principal, Mrs. Elkins, was there, along with Mrs. Harvey. Of course she was. I didn't look at her when I sat down. I started calm. I showed the video, the real one, on the school's laptop. I paused right when Micah whispered into the camera. The room went dead silent. Mrs. Harvey's face didn't change. But her hand clenched the edge of her purse. "Where did you get this?" the principal asked. "From their recycling bin," I said flatly. "They tossed the original file. I found it. That footage you saw was fake. This is what really happened." Mrs. Harvey spoke for the first time. "That's illegal. You can't take things from our trash." "I didn't break into your house," I said. "And you framed my 5-year-old. She opened her mouth again, but the principal cut her off. "I need time to review this." I left that office, not with satisfaction, but with heat in my chest. Because I knew that wasn't enough. They weren't done. Not by a long shot. 2 days later, Max came home crying. "They said I was a liar," he said. "Who said that?" I asked. "Micah and his friends. They said you faked the video and told me what to say." I held him until he calmed down. My stomach twisted into knots. He was 5. Just a baby. And these people had turned their own kid into a puppet for hate. That night, Darren and I sat down and talked. We were done playing nice. I remembered something else. The Harveys were constantly talking about getting Micah into a private academy, Jefferson Heights. Super elite. One strike on his record, and he'd never get in. They were obsessed with image. Reputation. It wasn't just about Micah. It was about making us look like the problem family. So they could keep looking perfect. So I started digging. I found Micah's public student project blog, linked from the school's site. It was full of creative projects. One post, 2 months old, had pictures of Micah doing acting experiments. He was in costume, playing different kids, including a short clip called "Framing the Bully." The kid he framed in that one looked eerily like a former classmate. The blog had comments too, one from Mrs. Harvey saying, "So proud of your creativity." This wasn't a one-time thing. This was a pattern. So I posted the footage. The real one. On a parenting Facebook group for the district. No name calling. No attacks. Just a video and a caption. Be careful what you believe. This is how a 5-year-old gets framed. It spread fast. People started talking. Asking questions. Other parents from the school chimed in. Stories about weird behavior from Micah. He told my son he was gonna ruin him. He stole a phone and said it was an experiment. All brushed under the rug by Mrs. Harvey. By the end of the week, Mrs. Harvey was off the PTA board. The school launched a full investigation. And the Harveys? They went silent. But I wasn't done. When I tell you the post exploded, I mean it. Within 3 days, it had over 300 comments and nearly 1,000 shares, most of them from parents in Johnson County. Some recognized the Harveys right away. Others didn't name names, but they shared experiences. That's when the pattern started to show. A mom named Denise messaged me privately. Her son, Aaron, was in Micah's class last year. She said Aaron got in trouble for bullying, except he swore he didn't do it. He said Micah made it up. Even pretended to cry in front of the counselor. Aaron got suspended for 2 days and started getting stomachaches before school. I let it go, she wrote, because I thought maybe my kid was being a jerk. But now, I'm not so sure. Then there was Rachel, another parent from down the block. She said Micah once accused her daughter of cheating on a school test. Her daughter was nearly kicked out of the advanced math program until the teacher realized something was off. The answers Micah claimed she copied didn't match the real test. But no one pushed it further. They never did. Because the Harveys were the kind of family that donated new iPads to the classroom. And that's when I realized Micah had a playbook. And his parents helped him run it. I collected every story. I screenshot messages, saved links, even had a spreadsheet going. I wasn't just looking for revenge anymore. I wanted exposure. I wanted to make sure no one else got hurt. Then one afternoon, about 2 weeks after the Facebook post, a plain white envelope showed up in our mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single sheet of paper, printed in bold. You've made your point. Stop digging. Before someone gets hurt. That night, our trash can was knocked over. Our back gate was wide open. Nothing stolen. Just a warning. I called the police. Filed a report. They were polite but useless. Could be kids, the officer said. You're sure it's related? Oh yeah, I was sure. The next twist hit me hard. I was scrolling through my emails when I found a new message from Max's school. Subject: Notice of Behavioral Review. I opened it. The school was re-examining Max's previous conduct due to new witness accounts. I felt like the floor disappeared under me. I'd already cleared him. The footage proved it. But someone was trying to reopen the case. Make it seem like Max was still the problem. I forwarded the email to the district office and called the principal immediately. I thought this was resolved, I said. There's been pressure from certain community members, she said carefully. I didn't ask who. I already knew. That night I called Denise. Do you know if the Harveys have any close ties to the school board? She sighed. Yeah. Mrs. Harvey's sister-in-law is on the district curriculum committee. That explained everything. I needed help. So I reached out to someone I knew could actually make noise, my cousin Kayla. She's a freelance journalist in Kansas City. She writes about education, power abuse, and family advocacy. She owed me a favor. I sent her the footage, the messages from other parents, the spreadsheet, the envelope, everything. Kayla called me 2 hours later. Oh my God, she said. This is bigger than I thought. They've been pulling this crap for years. She didn't just want a story. She wanted to blow the lid off. Let me dig, she said. Give me a week. I told her to go for it. But by day 4, something unexpected happened. Micah showed up on our porch. Alone. He rang the bell and just stood there, arms crossed. I opened the door, stunned. What do you want? I asked. He stared at me. You're ruining everything. I didn't answer. You think you're so smart, he said. But my mom fixes things. She always does. Then he turned and walked away. He wasn't scared. He was trained. Trained to lie. To set people up. And he believed deep down that nothing could touch him. I shut the door slowly. But I wasn't scared either. Because Kayla had just texted me. Got it. I found something. And it's big. Kayla drove in from Kansas City that Friday. She came straight to our house with her laptop and a flash drive. You're going to want to sit down, she said. So we did. She had spent the past week going through old school board records, PTA minutes, fundraiser donations, and even local news archives. What she found connected the dots in a way I never expected. Turns out, the Harveys had a pattern of manipulating the system, not just through Micah, but through donations and connections. They gave thousands to school programs, then used that goodwill to bend rules. Mrs. Harvey helped rewrite parts of the school's behavioral review policy last year. She even pushed to remove third-party reviews for student complaints. But the worst part, Kayla said, is this. She clicked on a folder labeled Micah, Complaint Records. She'd used the source inside the school district to get access to flagged, but buried, reports. Complaints against Micah. 7 of them. All from different families, dating back 2 years. False accusations. Intimidation. One kid said Micah followed him home and threatened to break his glasses if he didn't play along. Each report marked resolved, parent dismissed, or not enough evidence. But it was enough for Kayla. She wrote the story, backed with files, screenshots, audio clips from interviews with other parents. She even found a teacher willing to speak anonymously about how the Harveys pressured staff behind closed doors. The article went live Monday morning. It wasn't some fluffy blog post. It was a full-blown exposé titled, The Candy Bar Conspiracy. How one family manipulated an elementary school through fear and favors. Within hours, it blew up. By lunch, the district superintendent announced an investigation. By dinner, Mrs. Harvey had resigned from every school board-affiliated role. Her sister-in-law? Suspended pending review. The Harveys tried to do damage control, but it was too late. Every parent who'd ever bit their tongue came forward. Every kid who'd been accused, punished, embarrassed, they were finally believed. Max got a letter of apology from the principal. His record wiped clean. Recess reinstated. She even sent him a little box of school stickers and crayons. Max didn't fully understand everything that had happened, but when he saw us smiling again, he smiled too. But it didn't end there. 3 weeks later, Jefferson Heights sent out a press release. Micah Harvey's admission was rescinded due to integrity concerns and falsified behavioral records. I'd be lying if I said I didn't read that twice. And then came the final blow, one I didn't expect. Mrs. Harvey filed a civil complaint against me for defamation and theft. Claimed I stole private property by taking that flash drive. But what she didn't know was that Kayla had already run everything past the legal team. The trash was public. The files were public record once they were shared with the school. The judge dismissed the case in under 10 minutes. She stood there in court, stone-faced, her husband looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. Micah wasn't with them. Maybe for the first time, they realized they weren't untouchable. After the hearing, she walked past me, eyes full of hate. I just looked her in the face and said, "Guess your kind of creativity has consequences." She didn't respond. Was I perfect through all of this? No. I probably should have gone to the school the moment chocolate showed up on our porch. I probably should have kept Max completely out of the Facebook storm. But I didn't know how deep it went. I didn't know how long they'd been doing this. But once I did know, I made sure they couldn't do it again. People like the Harveys get away with too much because everyone else is too tired, too busy, or too afraid to fight back. I fought. And we won. And now? Max plays in the yard again, smiling. And when I look across the street and see the for sale sign going up in front of the Harveys' house, let's just say, I've never seen anything sweeter. About 2 months after the Harveys moved out, the neighborhood started to feel normal again. We finally planted flowers along the front path, something I'd been putting off since the melted chocolate mess. Max was thriving. He didn't talk about Micah anymore. His teachers said he was opening up more in class. Making friends. We hadn't heard a word from the Harveys since the court case. No more envelopes. No more threats. Just silence. I thought it was finally over. Until one morning, I found a plain white envelope in the mailbox. No name. No return address. Inside was a single candy bar, still wrapped. Melted slightly from the heat. Taped to it was a sticky note. Enjoy. You've earned it. I stared at it for a long time. I'll never know who left it. Maybe it was someone from the school who had watched everything unfold. Maybe one of the other parents. Maybe even a teacher. But I smiled. Because this time, the note didn't come from a place of hate or control. It came from someone who understood that justice, when it finally shows up, is the sweetest thing of all. I threw the candy bar away. Not because I was scared. But because I didn't need it. We'd already won.